Noah worked alone on the edge of space. He was just a station repairman, someone no one noticed. His home was a broken old space station orbiting Jupiter. The station was used for junk storage and communication relays, and Noah was one of the few people who still worked there. He liked the silence. No one ordered him around. No one cared who he was. He fixed wires, cleaned solar panels, replaced rusted parts. That was his life, and he didn't mind it. His world was simple, but one day, something strange happened. It started with a signal. Noah was checking an old relay dish when his screen flickered. The signal wasn't from Earth or any known colony. It was old, deep, rhythmic, like a voice trapped in time. At first, it sounded like static, but then he heard a soft tone, repeating again and again. Noah adjusted the frequency. He ran it through translation software, but it showed no results. The pattern didn't match any human code. But there was one strange part. The signal seemed to respond to him. When he whispered into the mic, the signal changed tone slightly. I felt a chill run down his arms. This isn't normal. He muttered. I followed the signal's direction. It was pointing toward deep space, just beyond the orbit path of Neptune, a place where no active ships were supposed to be. With permission from his local control center, he took one of the station's scout shuttles and followed the coordinate what he found changed everything. Floating in the darkness was a large ship, silent, covered in dust and small meteors. It had no markings. Its surface was smooth like stone but cold like metal. The ship didn't belong to any human fleet. Noah's shuttle got close. He turned on his lights and scanned for signs of power. Nothing showed up. But as he reached out and placed his hand on the shuttle's control panel, the unknown ship lit up first. A soft blue glow spread across its body. Then a large entrance opened on its side, like it was inviting him, and felt fear. But curiosity pulled him forward. Noah suited up and entered the ship through the open ramp. Inside, it was quiet. The air was clean. The walls were covered in symbols he didn't recognize. The hallway was lit with soft lights that turned on as he walked forward. He reached what looked like a control room. A single console sat in the center. It was circular, smooth, and made of a material he couldn't identify when he touched it. The console responded. Lights danced around his fingers. A gentle voice echoed in the room. It was not human, but clear. Welcome, HFY. Noah stepped back. What did you say? He asked. The empty room voice repeated itself. This time slower. Welcome, HFY Dominion. Your arrival has been expected. He stared at the console. I'm not an heir, he said. I'm just a repair worker. But the voice didn't stop. It introduced itself. I am Aya, the core intelligence of this vessel. You carry the genetic key of the Ilyari bloodline. Only you can activate the ship. Only you may restore the lost command. Noah shook his head. There must be a mistake, he said. I was born in a mining colony. I don't know anything about a bloodline or a dominion. But the ship didn't argue. Instead, it showed him something. A light appeared in the air. It displayed a map of the galaxy. Hundreds of dots spread across space. Then it zoomed into a star system Noah didn't recognize. The map marked ancient routes, star bases, and something called the Crown Planet. Noah watched in silence. He had never seen anything like. Fish asked the voice. What is the Ilyari Dominion? Aya replied, a forgotten empire. Once rulers of the central systems, lost in a civil war. Their bloodline vanished, but your DNA carries the last link. You are the heir by code and by legacy. Noah sat down. Didn't understand how this could be true. He had no family history, no records of his parents. He always believed he was just another worker in the system. But this ship was real. Its voice knew things no one else did, and it was responding only to him. He stood again and looked around the room. The walls changed. They showed images of a past war, ships burning in space, a royal figure sending away a small vessel carrying an infant. That child had a mark on its hand. Noah looked at his own palm. There was a faint symbol, one he had never paid attention to before. But now it glowed lightly in the ship's light. What do you want from me? He, a scared voice, answered. To return, to decide, to restore balance, or let it fade forever. Noah felt a strange pull in his chest. A part of him wanted to leave the ship, forget this ever happened. But another part, one buried deep, told him this was meant to happen, that he had always been running from a truth. He didn't know, took a deep breath, and he sat back at the console. All right, he said. Show me everything. The ship's engines hummed to life. Its systems aligned. Outside, panels shifted into place, and in the distance, stars began to move. Its ship wasn't just a machine, it was a throne in it. Had found its heir. Noah sat in the pilot's seat of the ancient ship, still unsure what he had just agreed to. The control system responded to his every touch. He didn't need training. The ship seemed to understand his thoughts, his voice, even his feelings. As he guided it through space, the ship moved with grace and speed that no human-made vessel could match. It left Jupiter's orbit and drifted toward a secure human base near Mars. No one knew he couldn't stay hidden anymore. Someone had to know what he found. Someone had to help him figure out what to do. Next, inside the ship, the voice of Ea guided him gently. You are returning to your origin, she said. The world of humans rejected the Ilyari long ago, but now they will see you. Noah didn't understand all her words, but he kept flying. He felt like a passenger in his own life. The ship moved forward like it had already decided his path. As the ship entered Mars orbit, it sent out a silent signal. A nearby Earth command cruiser picked it up. Within minutes, the base raised alerts. Dozens of fighters scrambled, but they didn't fire. Instead, the human ships followed him. Noah landed at the central hangar. Security forces surrounded the ship, weapons ready. He slowly stepped out, hands up. He expected shouting, threats, maybe even arrest, but what he saw made him freeze. The commanding officer, a man in gray uniform, stared at him in silence. Then, slowly, he knelt on one knee. One by one, the soldiers behind him did the same. Noah blinked. What are you doing? He asked. The officer stood again. We've seen that ship before, in old records and stories passed down through officers. We didn't believe it was real, but now you brought it back. The ship that answers only to one bloodline, the ship of the lost empire. I'm not from any empire. Noah said, I fix machines. I lived on a junk station. The officer gave a respectful nod. You might believe that, but the ship does not lie. Your DNA matches the royal records we have in the deep archives. Noah looked behind at the vessel. It stood tall, glowing faintly. It didn't look like it belonged in this time. Maybe it didn't. He was taken to the Earth command base. Scientists and officers studied the ship, scanned it from a distance, and asked Noah hundreds of questions. But the ship never opened for them. It stayed silent unless Noah was nearby. They had no choice but to believe him. A few days later, a group of high-ranking officials came to meet him. They told him stories about the Ilyari Dominion, an ancient empire that ruled many parts of the galaxy before human colonies ever existed. Their technology was powerful, their ships unmatched, but they disappeared after a civil war broke them from within. The Ilyari throne was said to be empty for thousands of years, and now, a ship from that time had returned with someone who could activate it. Noah felt like the whole galaxy was watching him. People called him Sir, Heir, and Descendant, but none of those names felt right to him. He kept saying, I'm not royalty. Still, the evidence grew. Earth scientists discovered that his DNA had strange markers not found in normal human genes. The patterns were complex, ancient, and lined up perfectly with Ilyari records recovered from long-lost archives. One night, Noah sat alone in a guest room at the base. The stars outside twinkled softly. His world had changed so quickly. A few days ago, he was fixing broken wires. Now people bowed to him. Ea's voice spoke again, softly through a small device he carried. You are quiet, she said. I don't know who I am anymore. Noah replied, You are who you've always been, she said. Only now, others can see it. I don't want a throne, he said. A true heir does not chase power, Ea said. That is why the throne chose you. Before he could reply, there was a knock on his door. A soldier stood outside and handed him a message. An ambassador, ship from the Galactic Alliance, had arrived. It carried a team of diplomats who wanted to speak with him. They were coming peacefully, but urgently. Noah agreed to meet them. The next morning, a silver ship landed at the base. From it stepped a tall woman with sharp eyes and calm movements. She wore a long coat and introduced herself as Mira, a neutral observer from the Alliance. I came because your existence is going to change everything, she said. The balance of power in the galaxy is delicate. The return of the Iliari throne will bring questions, fear, and maybe war. I don't want war, Noah said. Then you must learn quickly, Mira said, because others will not wait. She offered to help him, not as a ruler, but as a guide. She had experience dealing with leaders and strange powers. She didn't trust easily, but something about Noah made her pause. You're not pretending, she said. You really don't want any of this? I never asked for it, he replied. But the stars asked for you, she said. That night, Noah returned to the ancient ship. It opened for him again, lights welcoming him home. He sat in the command seat and looked at the stars ahead. He felt the weight of something bigger than himself. He didn't know if he was ready, but he knew running was no longer an option. Where do we go next? He asked Aya. To the Echo Fleet, she answered. They sleep in the drift, but when they see you, they will awaken. Noah stared into the darkness of space. He whispered to himself, I'm still not royalty. But deep inside, something else whispered back, you don't have to be. Noah stood at the edge of the hangar, watching Mira's ship rise into the sky. The meeting with the Galactic Alliance had ended peacefully, but he could feel the tension in the air. Not everyone trusted him. Some were curious, others were afraid. Back in his room, Noah found it hard to sleep. He kept thinking about everything Mira said. She had warned him about people who would try to use him. Some might offer help. Others might try to stop him before he took a step further. His voice spoke softly in his ear. Your presence is like a signal, she said. It awakens both hope and fear. Noah didn't reply. He already felt it in the eyes of the guards, in the way officers whispered behind his back. He wasn't just a visitor now. He had become a symbol. The next morning, Noah was invited to a private dinner with some of Earth's top officials. It was held in the upper chamber of the command center. The room was large, bright, with long glass windows showing the stars outside. The generals and diplomats smiled as they greeted him. They asked polite questions. They offered him food, drinks, and stories about their home planets. But Noah could feel the pressure behind their words. They were trying to understand him. Some hoped to make him an ally, others seemed to be searching for weakness. Mira was there too. She stood at the side, watching the room closely. She rarely spoke, but her eyes followed every move. After the dinner, Noah walked through the halls of the base. It was quiet. Most people had gone to sleep. He liked the silence. It reminded him of his old life, simple and empty, but safe. He turned the corner, heading toward the room where he had left a small pack of tools. Suddenly, the lights flickered. He froze. From the shadows, a figure stepped out, dressed in black. The person moved fast. Noah stepped back, but the figure lunged. A small blade flashed in the light. Noah raised his arm, and the blade scratched across his sleeve. He fell backward, hitting the wall. The attacker didn't stop. The blade came down again, aiming for his chest, before the strike landed. A sharp sound echoed in the hall. A stun shot fired from behind. The attacker fell to the floor, twitching slightly. Mira rushed forward, a small weapon still in her hand. Are you hurt? She asked. Noah shook his head. I'm fine. Guards arrived seconds later. The attacker was taken away, still alive but unconscious. Mira stayed close to Noah, her voice calm but cold. They moved faster than expected, she said. Who sent them? Noah asked. I don't know yet, she said. But this proves one thing. You are not safe here. Later, in a private room, the base commander apologized. He said the attacker had posed as a technician. No one had expected violence so soon. But Mira wasn't surprised. There are people in every system who fear change, she said. The Iliari throne returning would change everything. They believe if you rise, their power will fall. Noah sat down and stared at the floor. The attack had shaken him. Not because he was nearly killed, but because someone had tried to kill him for something he didn't even want. I didn't ask for this, he said, but now it's yours. Mira said, and what you do next will decide how far this goes. Noah returned to the ship that night. It was the only place that felt safe. The walls were silent. The lights were soft. Aya greeted him as always. You were attacked, she said. Yes. Noah replied, you survived. The path remains open. Noah didn't speak for a long time. He walked through the halls of the ship, passing strange symbols carved into the walls. Some of them now made sense. Others were still a mystery. He stopped in the command room. Aya. He said, I want to know everything now. No more pieces. No more waiting. Tell me what's out there. The ship responded at once. A large display appeared before him. The galaxy lit up with colored routes and names. Some were in human language. Others were in the old Iliari script. There are still parts of the Iliari Dominion hidden across space, Aya said. Old systems, warships, knowledge banks, all locked and waiting. Only your presence can open them. What's the next one? Noah asked. A fleet. She replied, in the Orion Drift, called the Echo warships. Designed to protect the air. They have been silent for 1,000 years. Noah looked at the glowing dot on the map. It was far, beyond current trade routes. A quiet zone filled with old debris and forgotten stations. Are they dangerous? He asked. They are loyal, Aya said. But if others reach them before you, they may fall into wrong hands. Noah made a decision. I want to go, he said. I want to see them for myself. Mira agreed to join the journey. A small team was chosen. No soldiers. Just a few skilled navigators and engineers. They would travel light and fast. Before leaving, Noah spoke once again to the leaders of Earth Command. I'm not here to take power, he said, but I won't let others destroy what might bring peace. Some nodded in support. Others said nothing. The next day, the ancient ship left Mars' orbit. It flew with silent speed, following the path they gave. Noah sat at the controls. Mira stood. Beside him, the stars stretched ahead like a road waiting to be walked. He didn't know what they would find in the Orion Drift, but he knew this was the beginning of something bigger, and he was ready to face it. Noah's ship glided through the Orion Drift, a quiet and strange part of space. There were no stations here, no patrols, no trading lanes, just scattered rocks, broken satellites, and the remains of ships from forgotten battles. The journey had taken to days. Mira stayed close, checking the long-range scans often. She didn't speak much, but her eyes were always alert. Inside the ship, Aya gave instructions. The navigation became harder as they moved deeper. Some sensors stopped working. Strange energy fields made the ship's systems flicker for seconds at a time, but Aya kept guiding them forward. Finally, Noah saw them in the distance. Giant shadows floated in space. At first, he thought they were asteroids, but as they came closer, the truth became clear. They were warships, dozens of them, some large as cities, some small and sharp like arrows. They drifted in perfect silence, powered down, but still whole. The lights inside the ships were off. Their weapons were cold. They looked like ghosts. This is the Echo Fleet, Aya said, built to protect the throne. They went into sleep mode when the last ruler disappeared. They have waited ever since. Noah stared at them through the window. They don't look awake, he said. They wait for you. Aya replied. Noah piloted the ship toward the center of the fleet. The ships did not react. They floated like ancient statues. But as his ship approached a wide central vessel, something changed. One by one, soft lights began to glow on each warship. Pale blue lines ran along their hulls. Then small signals lit up on the dashboard. They're waking up, Mira said. Noah looked around. The fleet, once lifeless, was now slowly coming to life. The central warship opened a bay door. It guided Noah to land their. When the ship touched down inside the giant vessel, the floor lit up beneath them. Air returned to the bay. Noah and Mira stepped out slowly. The air smelled clean, like it had just been made. Inside, The walls were tall, smooth, and marked with symbols from the Ilyari language. As they walked through the hallway, the lights followed them. Then a large screen turned on in front of them. A face appeared. It was not human. It looked like a mixture of metal and light, shaped like a mask. Identify, the voice said. It spoke through Noah's communicator. Air confirmed. Code matched. The bloodline has returned. The screen paused. Then, slowly, the masked face lowered its eyes. Command accepted, the voice said. Fleet prepared. Noah took a deep breath. I don't want control, he said. I just want to stop others from using this fleet to bring war. The voice replied. Then you must lead it. Mira watched everything quietly. She didn't speak, but her expression had changed. She had seen power before, but never anything like this. They spent the next few hours exploring the ship. Noah was shown the control center. He could now give commands through voice or thought, the echo. Warships responded instantly. The fleet had shields stronger than anything human ships had ever built, weapons that could fire across systems, engines that could move between stars in minutes. But none of the systems worked for anyone except Noah. Aya explained why. These ships were locked by genetic code. Only someone from the true line of the Ilyari can unlock them, even if others tried. They would fail. Noah knew what this meant. If someone else had found this fleet before him, they could not have used it. But now that he was here, the warships were awake, and soon the galaxy would find out. As they prepared to leave the drift, a warning flashed on the screen. A ship was approaching fast. Noah moved to the controls. Who is it? He asked. Mira checked the data. It's not Alliance, not Earth Command either. It's a private vessel, but its signal is fake. A moment later, the enemy ship fired. The shot hit the edge of the warship, but the shields held. Noah reacted quickly. He sent out a command. 4 Echo ships moved into place, forming a wall between them and the attacker. The enemy fired again, but this time the Echo fleet returned fire. A single pulse shot hit the enemy ship. It didn't destroy it, just disabled it. The ship began drifting. Noah could have ordered the fleet to destroy it, but he didn't. Let them go, he said. Mira looked at him. Why? I'm not here to start something, Noah said. I'm here to stop it before it begins. She nodded. Then you're doing it right. Before they left, A gave one final message. There's one last system that must recognize your claim, she said. The crown planet, Neuraxes. Noah asked, what is it? The heart of the old Dominion, Aya said. If the planet accepts you, the entire Ilyari network will know the heir has returned. Mira looked at the map. That planet has been locked for thousands of years, she said. No one has been able to enter its core, Aya replied. Until now. Noah stood at the window again, watching the fleet gather behind them. Each ship followed his lead, not because he forced them, but because they believed in the code they were built to serve. He still didn't feel like royalty. He still didn't know what kind of leader he was supposed to be. But for the first time, he felt a sense of purpose. The galaxy was watching, and Noah was no longer just a repair worker in space. He was the key to something forgotten. Noah's ship moved toward the distant star system marked on the map. It was the location of Neuraxes, the crown planet of the Ilyari Dominion. The planet had been hidden behind thick clouds and a layer of molten lava for centuries. No one had set foot there for thousands of years. As they approached, the ship's sensors showed only a violent storm and a surface that glowed red from volcanic activity. It looked like a world full of danger. Mira stood beside Noah in the control room. Why does the planet matter so much? She asked. If the fleet is behind you, and the ship responds to you, why risk going there? Noah shook his head. Because it is the heart of everything, the place where the true ruler sits. If Neuraxes does not accept me, then nothing else matters. Aya's voice spoke softly through the speakers. The planet holds the final test. Only the true heir can unlock its secrets. The ship moved closer, its shields activated against the harsh storms outside. Lightning flashed and lava rivers flowed beneath the clouds. Noah prepared to land. The ancient ship's engines hummed louder as it passed through the thick atmosphere. The ship shook under the power of the storms, but it held steady. When they touched down on the rocky surface, the crew stepped out carefully. The air was thick and warm, but breathable. Strange plants with glowing leaves covered the ground. The ruins of old Ilyari buildings rose ahead, covered in moss and crystal. It was clear the planet was once full of life and power. Noah felt the weight of history. In every step. In the center of the ruins, a large temple stood. It was made of stone and metal. The entrance was carved with ancient symbols. Above the door was the symbol Noah had seen on his hand, the mark of the air. Ea guided Noah to the door. "This is the gateway to the throne chamber," she said. "You must enter alone." Noah nodded. He stepped forward and placed his hand on the door. The stone glowed softly. The door opened with a low rumble. Inside, the room was vast and dark. Soft lights pulsed from the walls, creating patterns in the air. At the center was a throne made of shining stone and metal. Noah approached it slowly. As he neared, visions appeared before his eyes, images of the past. He saw a man who looked like him. The man ruled with wisdom, but faced betrayal from his own people. The vision showed the man sending a child away in a small ship, hiding him from enemies. The child's hand was marked with the same symbol Noah carried. Noah gasped. "That must be me," he whispered. The throne lit up, its lights reflecting on Noah's face. The voice of the ancient ruler echoed softly, "You are the last hope." The bloodline was hidden to survive. You carry the legacy not for power, but for peace. Noah felt a rush of emotion. He had never believed in destiny. But now, standing here, it felt real. He sat on the throne carefully. The room responded. Lights shifted. The planet itself seemed to awaken. Suddenly, a holographic map appeared. It showed star systems connected by glowing lines. The Ilyari network, Ea, explained, "The crown planet controls the network. With your approval, the systems will recognize you as leader." Noah looked at the stars outside. "I don't want to be a ruler. I want to protect everyone. True leadership," Ea said, "is service, not power." Mira stepped forward. "You passed the test. The planet has accepted you?" Noah smiled weakly. "I'm still not sure if I am ready." Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "None of us are ready for what comes next. But you don't have to do it alone." That night, they camped near the temple. Noah looked up at the stars. The galaxy was wider and more complex than he had ever imagined. He thought about the coming challenges. Enemies who would try to take the fleet. Warlords who feared change. In the hope of uniting broken worlds, he whispered quietly, "I'm not royalty." But deep inside, he knew something different. He was the key, and the galaxy was waiting. The Storm Parliament was a large space station. It orbited a neutral planet far from Earth and the Ilyari Crown Planet. Leaders from many worlds met there to discuss peace, trade, and problems. It was a place where no army could enter, and no war could start. Noah and Mir arrived at the Storm Parliament with the Ilyari fleet behind them. The Echo warships flew in formation, quiet but strong. People on the station watched with surprise and hope. Noah felt the weight of their eyes. Many were curious, some were doubtful. Others feared what he represented. Inside the parliament halls, the leaders gathered. There were humans, aliens with green skin, beings with shining eyes, and machines with metal bodies. They spoke in many languages, but all watched Noah closely. Noah stood before them, wearing simple clothes. He did not wear a crown or special robes. He spoke clearly and calmly. "I am not here to take power," he said. "I am here to help bring peace. The Ilyari Dominion once ruled many stars. Now, the galaxy is broken and weak. I want to unite us not by fear, but by trust." Some leaders nodded. Others whispered among themselves. Suddenly, the doors opened. Commander Harl entered. He was a tall man with a harsh face and a sharp voice. He led a group of warlords who wanted to fight the new power. "Your claim is false," Harl said loudly. "You have no right to lead. The Ilyari throne belongs to those who earned it by battle, not by blood alone." Noah did not answer. He looked at Harl calmly. "If you want war," Noah said, "then I will stand. But I hope we can find a better way." The room grew tense. The warlords shouted. The diplomats tried to calm them. The leaders looked at Noah, waiting for a sign. Suddenly, alarms sounded. The station shook. "Attack!" shouted a guard. Outside, warships surrounded the stormed parliament. Harl's fleet had come to fight. Noah's heart raced. He looked to Ea, who said, "Prepare the Echo warships." The fleet moved quickly. The Echo warships formed a shield round the station. Their shields were strong and held the enemy fire. Their weapons fired warning shots. Mira helped Noah communicate with the leaders. "Hold your ground," she said. "Don't panic." Noah spoke to the fleet. "Protect the parliament. No destruction unless necessary." The battle lasted for hours. The warlords tried to break the shield but failed. Noah's fleet was faster and smarter. Finally, the attackers retreated. The storm passed. Noah stepped forward. "We do not want to fight. We want peace." The leaders agreed to continue talks later. Noah met with Mira in a quiet room. "That was close," she said. "No one believed me at first," Noah said. "But I had to show them I could protect more than just myself." Mira smiled. "You are learning to lead." Noah nodded slowly. "I still don't feel like royalty." "You don't have to," Mira said. "Being a leader means standing for others, not sitting on a throne." Ea's voice joined them. "Your journey is not over. The galaxy watches. Many will try to challenge you, but with truth, you will stand strong." Noah looked out the window at the stars. He thought about the past, the unknown child sent away to survive, the lost empire, the fleet that waited for him. He whispered quietly, "I'm not royalty." But now, more than ever, he knew was a leader. The hall was filled with representatives from hundreds of star systems. The Great Council had gathered on the crown planet Neuraxis. It was a moment unlike any other in the galaxy's history. People who once fought each other now stood quietly, waiting for what would come next. Noah walked into the chamber. He wore plain clothes, without any sign of power or title. Yet the room was silent. All eyes watched him as he moved forward. The throne stood at the center, shining softly with light. It was not just a seat of power, but a symbol of hope and peace. Noah took a deep breath. He looked at the faces before him, humans, aliens, and even artificial beings. They were all united by this moment. "I have never wanted to be royalty." Noah said clearly, "I'm not a king or an emperor. I'm just a man who wants to help." There was a pause. Then, slowly, one by one, representatives began to kneel. The leaders of powerful worlds bowed their heads. The ambassadors of great empires lowered themselves. It was not a show of fear or submission. It was a sign of trust, respect, hope. Noah felt a wave of emotion rise inside him. For years, he had denied this destiny. But now, standing here, he understood. He was not alone. The council spoke then, offering their loyalty not because of his blood, but because of his heart. Because he had chosen to stand for peace, to protect the weak, and to unite the broken. Mira stood beside him, her eyes shining with pride. "You did not want this," she whispered. "But you earned it." Noah nodded. "I never wanted a throne, but if it can bring peace, I will carry it." Ea's voice filled the chamber. "The Ilyari legacy is reborn. The galaxy's future begins." The great hall glowed with light as the council rose together. Their unity was a promise to the stars. Outside, the Echo fleet soared across the sky. The warships, once silent and forgotten, now carried a new mission to guard this fragile peace. Noah looked up at the stars and whispered, "I'm not royalty." But this time, his voice held something new. It was not doubt. It was hope. He was a leader, a protector, a beacon for the galaxy. And the Empire had kneeled to him not for his blood, but for the man he chose to be.